So someone slid into our DMs recently and asked us a question here at Melbourne Strength Culture about deadlifting, and that they were deadlifting at their gym and they saw someone who was controlling the weight back to the floor and then standing back up with it. So more so a touch and go deadlift. And they asked, what is the purpose of controlling the down phase of a deadlift? They thought that the only execution of a deadlift was just the concentric phase, so just the up phase. So I thought it would be a really good topic because I feel that a lot of people who don't understand the exact mechanisms behind training and muscle growth and power and strength development, this might be a good introduction on how you can manipulate exercises and certain variables within the exercise, so the actual exercise execution, and as a result change the outcome of what the exercise has produced for you and the stimulus that it has created for yourself. So I think for this we need to talk about 3 different types of deadlift. Number 1, we have just a standard deadlift, which I'll call a competition style deadlift, where you set yourself up and you break the floor explosively all the way to the top of the lift, you lock out, and then you either control it to your knees and then just drop the weight, or you simply just let go of the weight at the top. So that will be number 1, that will be our competition style deadlift. Our number 2 style of deadlift that we'll talk about is a standard touch and go deadlift. This is the example that was used in the question, where the person controls the weight down, so they lock out at the top, and then on the way down they control all the way back down to the floor into a soft touch and then back up off the floor. So this is a typical touch and go deadlift. People like Cameron McKenzie from Australia and also Jesse Norris from America are 2 big advocates of the touch and go deadlift. I believe it is beneficial, and we'll go into that towards the end of this video. And then the 3rd deadlift that we need to talk about is what we here at Melbourne Strength Culture call the Cohen deadlift. I stole that name off Silent Mike, who is no longer at Super Training, RIP. But I stole the name of the deadlift off Silent Mike, who obviously took it from Ed Cohen, probably the greatest powerlifter of all time. And this type of deadlift is where you control the deadlift back down to the floor, you deload approximately 50% of the weight into the floor, and then you stand back up, executing your next rep of the deadlift. The competition style deadlift, which is obviously what I see to be your biggest strength and power builder. This competition style deadlift where you explode off the floor, you don't worry about the eccentric control, so the down phase. This is a really good deadlift to do high intensity work with, because it doesn't have an eccentric phase, so it doesn't have a down phase. It means that you'll be able to perform more reps because it's not as taxing on the body. This can be really beneficial if you're someone who likes to train at high intensities. Myself and Charlie here at Melbourne Strength Culture, we push that a lot. We believe that the deadlift should be a strength developer, and that it's probably not your best bet choosing a deadlift for muscle building purposes, purely because of how it loads the body, it loads the lower back. It's extremely taxing on the central nervous system. So we believe that the competition style deadlift should be your primary strength builder. So i.e. you do it at the start of your workout as like an A1 or A1 or B1 exercise after squatting, and then you use the sets and reps. So a typical set and rep scheme would be somewhere between 4 to 10, maybe 12 working reps. So 3 sets of 3 would be an example, 5 sets of 2, where we're getting around about that 4 to 12 rep range at a very high intensity. This is how we structure the use of a competition style deadlift without an eccentric phase. That then takes us into our second style of deadlifting. The touch and go deadlift, also beneficial, is for individuals who like to do higher rep or more volume work centered around their deadlifting. Again, this is not something that myself and Charlie push a lot with training because the deadlift is such a taxing exercise. But for individuals that enjoy higher rep work and really like challenging the entire body through a movement, the deadlift is a really great exercise for that. And these touch and go type reps, especially when you use straps, which Cameron McKenzie uses a lot, is a great way for you to build total volume through deadlifting, because you don't have to reset completely at the bottom every single rep. You can maintain some tension through your body, but not only that, you get some eccentric control, which we know is great for building muscle. So whereas our competition style deadlift was more of a strength builder, these touch and go type deadlifts can be more so pushed towards the muscle building or volume building exercise selection. The final type of deadlift that we like to program here is what we call the Cohen deadlift. So this is similar to the touch and go deadlift, however you deload 50% of the weight back into the floor. So if you had 200 kilos on your bar, what you'll do is you'll go through your deadlift, so you'll pull it off the floor. You'll then eccentrically control your deadlift, so control the bar back to the floor. You'll then deload 100 kilos into the floor, so you're maintaining a lot of tension through your body, through your lats, through your upper back, through your hips and hamstrings, and then you push it off the floor again. We see this as the most beneficial deadlift for beginners. The Cohen deadlift for us is the best teaching tool for teaching individuals how to hold and maintain tension in the correct areas of the body. So when we go through a Cohen deadlift, we can teach the individual to sit back a little bit more and load the hips on the way down. We can also teach them the correct hip position off the floor, because it becomes extremely difficult to control that bar in an eccentric manner without the correct bar path being vertical. So the Cohen deadlift for us is a massive teaching tool, particularly early on for beginners. That with the question being asked simply of why is this person doing touch and go style deadlifts when you've taught me to do competition style deadlifts, we can see that a single exercise like the deadlift can be manipulated and changed, and the variables change within the actual exercise itself to create a completely different training effect for the individual, whether that be a beginner, intermediate or advanced style lifter. And we can change how we execute certain sections of the deadlift to create a whole different stimulus that affects the body in its own way. So thank you, Michael, for sliding so smoothly into our DMs. Hopefully this video answered your question. If you have any questions for us here at Melbourne Strength Culture and want them answered in video format, please leave them in the comment section below. If this video helped you out, please give us a big thumbs up as it helps our channel grow, and make sure to subscribe for weekly content. Happy lifting and welcome to the culture. The deadlift is my favourite lift. I've currently pulled a 2.8. No one cares what you deadlift, mate. Thank you.